Jeff here, and welcome back to the channel where we give you world-class advice on how to remodel your homes, your kitchens, your bathrooms. We do flooring, we cover engineering disasters around your house, and tool reviews. And in today's tool review here, we got a nice lineup here. We're going to determine here which company makes the best drill accessory to cut through wood, to make circular holes in wood. So today we have three contenders here. We have the Milwaukee Hole Dozer hole saw kit. We have the Irwin spade bits, and then we have the Bosch Daredevil spade bits here. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to cut through several different types of material here today. And we're going to see which one of these is able to cut through the material and to cut through quickly, and more importantly, to make a clean circular hole without blowouts. Okay, so I'll put links to all of these down in the video description below for you to Amazon. And by the way, just as a disclosure, as you know, we get a couple of % commission every time somebody buys something from Amazon when we send them there via the links. But I'm sure there isn't a person alive today that doesn't know that if you click on a link to go to Amazon, that somebody's getting a commission. First up on the bill in our House of Vaudeville, folks, we have here the Milwaukee Hole Dozer 13-piece bimetal hole saw kit. So this is model number 49-22-4025. And as we open it up here, we can see here what's inside the kit. Here, there's all of your pieces. What I find interesting here is they say that this is a 13-piece kit. Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Unless they're counting the case as a 13th piece, I don't know. But something here is not jiving here, folks. So I don't see 13 pieces in here. So I don't know why they call it that unless they're counting the case. Now, I've been using this set for a number of years, and this has been my go-to set. I use these hole dozers here to drill holes in the backs of all of the cabinets whenever you have to drill holes for pipes, when you're putting cabinets in, kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets. So if anybody ever buys a cabinet that has a back on it, we have to drill these holes using the hole dozers here. And personally, I don't like buying cabinets with a back on it. I'd rather just have it open to the back wall. That way you're free to move about the country. You can do whatever you want there. It's a lot easier to do your install. They don't have a 1-inch, which you think would be a common hole size. All they have is the 7/8 and a 1 1/8, you know, right here. So that's kind of strange. But the way these work is like this. So these smaller ones screw onto here like this. So they screw on like that. Okay, and this you can put in your drill. This will not work in the impact driver because the impact driver has a 1/4-inch drive, and these are a little bigger, so I have to put these in the drill, the regular drill driver. Okay, so you take your drill here now, and I'm using my DeWalt. This is my DCD 996. I love this drill. I got this in that kit about 3 years ago. And by the way, if you saw my video that I uploaded a couple of days ago that showed the DeWalt deals of the day on Home Depot's website, they had this kit that I bought this in with this drill and the impact driver and the battery and the yellow fast charger and the carry bag, and it was $279. It was $120 off the normal $399 price that I just showed it at in Home Depot last week, right? And then on top of that, they were throwing in a free battery. I'm like, holy cow. When I bought this thing, I paid, you know, the $399 that they normally sell it for, but I think I had my Lowe's coupon in there. That got me another 10% off. But so this is what it looks like when you have it all said and done there. And you can see how the drill bit sticks out in the middle. So that's your pilot right there. So you start drilling right into the wood there with your pilot hole there. And that establishes a position such that this hole saw here will not walk all over the wood. So you're essentially kind of going like that with it, and it drills down into the material. So we'll show you once we start the test. All right, so next up on the list is our Irwin set here of spade bits. And this is a pretty decent set here to get if you're just starting out in life there. And what I like about this one, this has the smaller sizes here. So for example, if you look over here, you see it starts at 3/8 of an inch and then goes to half, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch, 1 1/8, and 1 1/2 inches. So beyond 1 1/2, you're probably going to want to switch over to a hole saw because it's going to be really rough for you trying to carve through a nice smooth hole. And again, the way these work is very simple. So you pick a spade bit here, you stick it in the front of your drill, you tighten down the clutch, and you're ready for action. Okay, just to give you an idea, so right now we're set on speed 1 and I got it set to drill. So there's what it does on speed 1. And if I switch it over to speed 2 right here, you can see it goes a lot faster. And then speed 3, it's just phenomenal. It's funny, I can actually still read the 1.5 as it's spinning around. So we're going to do all of our tests in speed 3 today. Okay, and finally, next up on the list here, folks, we have the Bosch Daredevil spade bits here. Now, some of our friends up north might call these paddle bits. Everybody has their own name for these, so it doesn't matter what you call them. Okay, you don't have to be a jerk and leave nasty comments if somebody calls it a different name than what you call it. What's cool about this kit here, this is an 18-piece kit from Bosch here with tough impact. So these are made to fit into your impact driver as well, if you wanted to use that. This comes with a nice canvas zippered carrying case here. And I was all miffed because they didn't really lower it that much. And then all of a sudden, this one here, I was doing a live stream at Home Depot on one of my Shop with Me walkthroughs a few weeks ago and found this on the clearance section in the back there. And when I took it up to the register, it had been marked down to about $13 or so. So we got the deal of the century on this one here. You'll never see a deal like this. So let's get these puppies opened up. Ta-da! The great unveiling. Okay, so their big claim to fame here on these Bosch Daredevils here is this full threaded tip that you see here, and also the speed wave paddle here, which they claim is 10 times faster than the competition. So we are going to verify that today. We're going to see if these guys are lying or if it really is faster. So as you look there, you can see how the tip is threaded. What that does is that helps aggressively dig into the wood. It's got a nice sharp tip. So when you plant this spade bit in the middle of the wood, it's gonna just start immediately drilling in place there to keep this spade bit stationary and to stop it from dancing all over the place. And then these wing tips here, you notice how they're aggressively sharp cut right there on the tip there? So they're meant to also aggressively start spinning in place as soon as it makes contact with the wood there. And this is not just your regular flat paddle bit, folks. You notice how there's some curvature to it there? See that right there? And just look at those side edges of these things here. This is deadly sharp right there on the edge, that silver coated edge that you see there. So a lot of people think that the spade bit, that the cutting part is just right up at the top there and by the wings and by the thread there, but that's not true. The whole entire side edge of this bit is slicing and dicing away. Okay, so the way this works is when you close it up here, the Velcro strap just closes like that there, and you have a nice handsome carrying case. So unlike the Milwaukee Hole Dozers, when Bosch says you have an 18-piece set, you actually have 18 cutting pieces here. And this thing starts really low. I like this. They actually give you 2 1/4-inch paddle bits here, and then they get 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, half, and just works its way up the line there. And these guys do have a 1-inch in case you need to cut a 1-inch hole. Okay, so if you compare the two spade bits here side by side here, this is the Irwin here on the left, and the Bosch Daredevil spade bit is here on the right. You can see here that there's a vast difference in the architecture here. Irwin spade bit here does not have that full thread tip that you see here on the Bosch Daredevil here. And the Irwin is pretty much flat, whereas if you remember I showed you a minute ago, see how the Bosch has that curved, slicing, really super sharp edge on the side there. The Bosch also seems to have sharper tips here on that speed wave there. So certainly a little bit sharper than what you see on the Irwin. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two pair up against one another. Okay, so these are what we're going to use today during the test. We're going to use the 1 1/8 inch hole saw from Milwaukee Hole Dozer. We're going to use Bosch's 1 1/8 Daredevil spade bit, and we're going to use Irwin's 1 1/8 inch spade bit as well. Okay, so we have a variety of different wood materials we're going to test all all of these paddle bits on today. And believe me, folks, we're going to poke holes in their stories. If they're claiming that they're the best, we're going to see who's the best here. So let me show you what we have here. All right, so this is the front door from an old cabinet I was going to put out for bulk trash, but I decided to save it for this test. This is made of particle board with Formica over it. 4x4 pressure treated post, a good old-fashioned white wood 2x4 stud material here. We use this to make walls with, and the electricians will use their spade bits to cut the holes in these to pass all of their Romex wire through there. Pressure treated 2x8. We have a piece of baseboard that I pulled off of somebody's house. This right here is good because this is a really, really hard, dense piece of wood. This is that spacer wood that the cabinet makers give you to put in between your cabinets. So like when you're running up against the wall and there's like 2 inches left, you slice one of these up and screw it to the side of the cabinet. And this is also used in cabinet making. This is the kicker panel here, right here. And the cool thing about this is often what they use as the back panel of the cabinets, right? So this would be a good one to test because a lot of times they get blowouts like this here. And if you saw my video from about a month or so ago where we showed you how we extracted a cabinet out of my friend's house, blown away by the fact that the horrible installers from the cabinet company that installed their cabinet were stupid the way they drilled it, and they made a blowout on it just because they simply didn't know how to drill a simple hole. Lastly, we're going to use a drywall piece here and see how we can drill through the drywall. Okay, so this particular type of wood is very prone to blowouts here, as you can see. So let me show you the right way you're supposed to do it, because most people don't know the proper way to cut a hole through wood, especially delicate wood like this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is score both sides and finish the cut on the good side, the side that's going to be visible, which is this side. So we'll start with the drill there. And you don't want to force it, see, because it'll find its way through. Then you just lift it up a little bit, get it spinning, and let it start to cut cleanly a little bit. Okay, and then we'll come back and flip to the back side. On the back side, we'll score the back side just a little bit, like that. Now we have it clean there too, and then we'll flip back over to the front side again. Okay, now back on the front side again. Now we can cut it all the way through. See, that way the blowout would happen on the ugly side. Now you saw a little bit of this chipping up over here. That's because we had the drill set on position 3, even though I'm trying to control it and not make it go so fast. When we do these with the hole dozer, I'm normally doing it on 1 or 2. I want a much more controlled speed. We're going to start off first here with the hole dozer hole, and we're just going to go full speed, not caring about our normal methods of doing a quality hole here. So pretty much 1 second. And here's what our hole looks like here, the wood piece that was cut out. So I mean, it flew right through that material because it cuts like butter. It was only 1/4 of an inch thick material. So that took about 9 seconds. Okay, so next we're going to try here the Bosch Daredevil, and let's go. So it went through just about as fast as the Milwaukee did. Okay, so let's take a look at our 3 holes here from the cut side. So the Milwaukee looks like it's pretty good. Nice good circular shape. Teeny bit of little chippage there, but remember, we didn't use it the way we would normally do it to cut a perfect hole. We were just trying to plow through the material here. The Irwin here, as you can see, cut sort of an odd-shaped hole with a little bit of flare out over here, as did the Bosch. So we didn't get quite perfect shaped circles. And if we look at the back here, you can see there was a massive blowout here from the Bosch that took out a little bit of the meat in between the 2 holes there. As you can see here, the Milwaukee did pretty nice here on this one here. Okay, so now on the piece of 3/4 inch spacer wood that matches the same wood as the cabinets, here we go. Okay, so we did it in about 19 seconds. All right, next we're going to do the Irwin paddle bit here. All right, so that did it in about 24 seconds. Okay, so now we're up to the Bosch spade bit here, and here we go. Ooh, he danced around a little bit. Hang on. There we go. He split the wood. Okay, so that looked like about 18 seconds or so. Okay, so now we'll do the Irwin, and here we go. He came out of the chuck. Okay, so we'll give it to him at chuck time because it was already poking through the other side there. All I needed was a quarter of a second more and it would have made it. Okay, so now we'll do the Bosch Daredevil here. Come on. There we go. So what I want to do here is I moved it to position number 2 just for a second, just to check something. Using the slower speed gives us more torque because we keep getting locked up in these holes, even though it's plowing through the wood pretty good at a good rate, but we seem to be getting jammed up in it. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Yeah, you see that? So using the speed number 2 there gives you a lot better torque and it goes through a lot quicker. Alright, so we're just going to try the Hole Dozer again real quick on the second setting just to see if it goes through any better with a slower speed but potentially higher torque. That was about exactly the same time. Okay, here comes the really tough one here. We have here a 4x4 piece of pressure treated lumber here, and we're going to see how the Hole Dozer does. That'll come up first. So we'll stick that one right in there and fire at will, Commander. Alright, we gotta call it because you know it's not going to penetrate any farther than that because of the depth. It can only go as deep as the whole socket is there, right? So it's not going to go any further than that. Okay, so the reason why the Hole Dozer failed here, if you take a look, see how it goes all the way in and it just kind of stops, because there's a limit to how deep the wood can go inside there. Once the wood hits that distance, you can't keep drilling through and plowing more because that core has to go that way into towards the back of it. Once it fills up, that's it. This is the maximum depth hole that you can make with a Hole Dozer. So the Hole Dozer fails this particular test. Alright, so now we'll try Mr. Irwin here, see how it does, and go. Got it. Right around 30. Alright, now we have the Bosch Daredevil here, and we're going to give him a try now. Oh, we're through already, okay. So we did it in about 20 seconds. Alright, so now I've got my FlexVolt 6.0 amp hour battery on here, and we'll just see if that allows it to get a little more energy in there, because that other battery was ready to drop, and it was really, really hot when I pulled it off too. Here we go. Yeah, he's through. Okay, now this next piece of material we have here, This is a particle board door from my old file cabinet with Formica over the top. So really, really dense material, and we'll see how these three do on that. All right, so first up here will be the Milwaukee Hole Dozer, and here we go. All right, so it made it through in about 6 seconds or so. Okay, and then last we have here the Bosch Daredevil spade bit here. That was like almost instantaneous, and he pulled out of the chuck. Okay, so now we have about a half-inch thin piece of old baseboard that I pulled off of a wall, and we're going to start off here with the Milwaukee Hole Dozer hole saw here, and let's see how this does. Alright, so that pretty much went through in a few seconds. Okay, now we'll try the Irwin paddle bit here. And he pretty much makes it in 5 or 6 seconds. Okay, and lastly here we have the Bosch Daredevil spade bits. Again, we split the wood. That's what happens when we get these narrow pieces of wood, but I mean, you could tell probably within 2 seconds it would have gone right through it. Okay, so now we're going to try a piece of drywall, because a lot of times we have to cut holes in the drywall for pipes to get through when we're remodeling the kitchens. So we're going to start here with the Milwaukee Hole Dozer. That's pretty much instantaneous within a second. Okay, now we're going to try the Irwin spade bit. That pretty much went through in about 4 seconds or so. Okay, now we have the Bosch Daredevil paddle bit here. Okay, he's through. Okay, now if you look on the flip side of it, you can see the Milwaukee Hole Dozer cut through nice and clean, but both the paddle bits from Irwin and Bosch kind of tore through. You had big blow up. Now we are going to try our luck on this product here. This is called Dents Shield, and what this is this is a tile backer board that I use from time to time that's very much like drywall here. It's got the gypsum in the middle, but it's got the waterproofing membrane already tied to it. So we'll see how that works. We're going to start off with the Milwaukee first, of course, the Hole Dozer. Here we go. That was like just about instantaneously, about 1 second. Okay, now we're going to try it with the Irwin paddle bit here. That was like less than a second. Okay, and then now we'll do it with the Bosch Daredevil paddle bit. Okay, so when we flip it over now, you can see here, if you look at the 3 holes, they look a lot cleaner now. Probably because of the waterproofing membrane that's on the back of all of these Dents Shield boards here. It's probably a little firmer. It's not as weak as the paper is on the drywall. All right, now we have a pressure-treated piece of 2x8 here, and I'm going to start off here with the Milwaukee Hole Dozer. Here we go. Okay, so that took almost 18 seconds. Okay, so now we will try the Irwin spade bit here. Took about 12 seconds or so, maybe 13. All right, now we'll try the Bosch Daredevil spade bit. Come on. So did it in under 9 seconds. Well, this was some pretty interesting test results here. So as you look here on the screen here and look at the chart on the timing on how all of these different bits here did as we made these cuts, one of the things that we notice about these different hole saw bits here is that each one of these has their own little specialty. So for example here, the Milwaukee Hole Dozers here, these tend to excel when you're dealing thinner material like this 1/4-inch kick panel here. These only took 2 seconds to get through here. And it gives you a nice clean hole as well. And other material, from what we've noticed, was anything below 1 inch, these hole saws do pretty well here from Milwaukee on the hole dozers here. So that means on the dent shield here, for example, that was only 1.5 seconds to get through that. 2 seconds through the drywall here. On the baseboard, which I don't have sitting here, but the baseboard only took 4 seconds. And this cabinet here, this would be representative of a cabinet here, a Formica cabinet door. This one here only took 6 seconds, but it does take longer as you get into more denser material like real wood, 1/2-inch cabinet wood. So for example, that one there took 18 seconds for it to get through, if you recall that. So just taking a look here at the chart here, looked on the Milwaukee Hole Dozer column here, you'll see that the thinner materials it does really well on. And it actually failed the test on this 4x4 here. You can see here, it couldn't go all the way through. You can only cut as deep as the hole socket is. Whereas with these spade bits, you can plow all the way through for as long as you're in the whole length of your bit is, which looks like to be about 6 inches or so. Yeah, so when you look here at, this is the cabinet wood right here, you can see the Milwaukee Hole Dozer left a much smoother hole here, whereas the Irwin and the Bosch here both kind of chewed things up a little bit. You made it a little rougher on the edges there. So when you need finesse and you're dealing with very sensitive materials like a cabinet and you only get one chance to get it right, you really want to deal with the finesse tool here. So the Hole Dozer I think is more appropriate here. And when you're dealing with big thick wood like 2x4s and 4x4s and 2x8s and all that, for these you really want to use these spade bits that are made for just plowing through that kind of dense wood here. And nowhere was that more prevalent than right here on the drywall. Now what's interesting is when you look at it from the front, all three of them actually made a pretty decent clean hole. The Milwaukee Hole Dozer probably made the cleanest hole, but to the untrained eye it's pretty hard to say who made the cleanest hole until you look at the back of it and then you see the blowout and the tears on the paper there on the back. These are the two from the spade bits. This one here is from the Milwaukee Hole Dozer. So in drywall, once again, I'm going to go with a finessing bit here and use the Hole Dozer. I'll use this every time on drywall. Now if you remember at the beginning of this video when we first opened up these Bosch Daredevils here, on the package it says 10 times as fast there. Well, we didn't necessarily find that to be true. I think that's just a pure lying on the manufacturer's part. And you know, all these manufacturers want to try to outdo each other with specsmanship and everything. But when we compared this Daredevil here with the Irwin spade bits, we didn't find anything close to that. So of all the tests we ran here, the only one here where there was multiples faster here between the Daredevil, this is the Bosch Daredevil bit, against the Irwin spade bit here, was when we did this 3/4-inch cabinet spacer wood here. Now this is really dense wood here. So it took the Bosch Daredevil 8 seconds to get through it, but it took the Irwin spade bit here 24 seconds to get through that wood there. So that's only a 3 times as fast. That's a 3x multiple there. That was as fast as it got. And other times here, for example, in this 2x4 right here, okay, so the Bosch spade bit did it here in 12 seconds, and the Irwin bit did it in 18 seconds. And then on the pressure-treated wood here, this 4x4 back here, the Bosch spade bit did it in 19 seconds, whereas the Irwin bit did it in 30 seconds. So it wasn't even faster by a multiple. So in a lot of these cases, they were fairly close, but it seemed, I think, in every one of the cases that the Bosch Daredevil did cut through the holes faster than the Irwin. Okay, so when you're dealing with these two spade bits, how do you know when to use these and how do you know when to use the Hole Dozer here? Well, as you can tell by all of the data we've shown here, these are best used when you're dealing with thick, hard wood like this. because they're designed to cut through rapidly. They don't care about making a smooth, perfect circle for you. They care about plowing through that material fast. So if you're an electrician and you're going through all your stud walls and you're drilling a lot of these holes here to run your Romex cable through, you don't really care about a perfect hole. You just want to get that hole through there really, really quick. But if you're dealing with finesse and you need a nice, perfect, smooth hole on the side of a cabinet, then you got to use the hole dozers here. And this is kind of akin to like when I see people on these flipping shows, it just drives me nuts. They're remodeling the bathroom walls and they take sledgehammers and smash them into the walls and the tiles, and they're making a mess and they're creating dangerous dust that they're going to be breathing in now. When I demolish it, I come in, I take a razor blade, I cut around the edge first and just start peeling away off of there. It's like a surgeon. So instead of coming in like a Neanderthal, you come in like a surgeon. So that's how you know when to use which one of the hole saws. Well, if you're finding this video useful so far, hey, go ahead and do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up down below. Just click on that thumbs up icon down there. That tells us that you like us. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, hey, why not? Make sure you click that subscribe button down below there and click the little gray bell icon next to it. And why is that so important? Because you have to tell YouTube that you want to receive all alerts from this channel, or we'll upload videos all week long and you'll never even see them. So that's it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.